Good to see you again, bro. How are you?
Bro, yeah, loving life. A little bit tired,
Good,
but
good,
that's
good.
pretty much always
All
the
right.
deal.
Well, I'm going to imagine that people are here because I cannot see exactly how many people are on the call. I know about 30 people were queued up to be on the call, but let's just get cracking. The first 10 minutes or so will be, um, I guess, me updating you a bit, Louis, updating everybody else with kind of where we've been going and who we're going to spotlight this year from the Solvi project. As we've been going through this process, it's been emerging that Solvi is more of a community than a competition. And so we've been racking our brains trying to think about how best to support everybody that's a part of this community. So how long ago was it, Louis, that we set out and just did that video on the way to the airport last year?
Um, well, that was over a year ago,
I
wasn't it?
reckon so. I reckon it was about a year ago. So if you guys don't know, Louis and I got together in San Francisco and just we wanted to connect more directly with people in a more meaningful way when they want to make a difference in this world and use the bits and bobs that we have to help them do that. And we made a little video, a bunch of people responded, and we were blown away by how broad the response was, both geographically and demographically. And we went through and we picked a team, and we've been working with the One Wave guys from Australia. But this year we wanted to go much bigger. So in April, Louis and I, if you weren't watching the vlogs, you won't know that Louis and I flew around the world in 30 days, which was pretty intense, wasn't it, mate?
It was the most intense but most rewarding month of vlogging I've ever done.
I've literally, it was only yesterday, I think exactly a month later, that was the first day I woke up and actually felt fresh and ready to get on with the day. I had some weird, deep sense of jet lag for a solid month, but it was totally
Wow.
worth it. We were massively inspired by people all around the world, and then we opened the opportunity for people to send us ideas in video format, and you guys did it by your droves. We got about 140 ideas sent from people in 40 different countries, and we began to go through them, and what we realized was there was a few that weren't quite appropriate for the Solvi community, people who had already really well-formed charities, or people who had just sent us an introduction video that they had made 3 years ago, or people just sending random videos that weren't pitches at all, just things that they were passionate about or things they'd seen in the news. So we had about 100 really powerful ideas of people sticking their necks on the line, saying they wanted to make change, and we kind of put them into two rough categories, amber and green ideas. So ideas that aren't quite ready yet, that are still brewing and forming, and the other ideas, the green ideas, ones that are ready for us to put capital and support behind and go public with and start building community around them. And out of the 100, about 2/3 are amber ideas, so fresh ideas, things off the top of people's heads that still need some curating and some development before we go and put capital behind them. But about 30 or so of them were green ideas, people that we would talk about as being risky and ripe. So they're the two criteria that I've been looking at these ideas with. Is it risky and is it ripe? So is it somebody who has a small voice that's being ambitious and audacious with a big idea, or actually could they be pushing themselves a bit harder? Is it a bit too easy for them, the idea that they're suggesting, and actually they could be more vulnerable and take more risk? And the other side of it is it ripe? Is the timing right? And has it been brewed effectively to the point where everybody can understand that it's clear, it's coherent, and it's a compelling pitch that people will want to put their time, energy, and money behind? So three of us, three judges, went in and looked at those top 30 ideas that are green and began to think about, well, I asked each of the three of us, including me, which are the 10 that you absolutely have to work with? And then we compared our 3 lists of 10. And so any of the projects that were green and ready, that were mentioned in more than one list, we put them on the in list. And so that gave us 6 projects, which left us with 1 gap. And so we asked ourselves the question this week: what are we missing here? What project would be helpful to add into this mix that would broaden the horizon and help fulfill the vision of Solvi? And so we wanted to make sure that, obviously this year it's been a real global project. We've flown around the world. We really wanted to get everybody in countries outside of the US and the UK invited to the party. And so we wanted to make sure everyone was represented. So the 7th project we added in was on that basis. And before I go on to talk about who the 7 are, I just want to make something really clear, that this is a community. This isn't about winners and losers. It's just about putting the spotlight on projects when the time is right. And the time isn't always right for all projects, and you always have a limit in our resources. And so just because we highlight these 7 doesn't mean the other ideas aren't good or aren't going to be backed in the future. And I want to go on to mention a few things. But are you with me so far? Have I missed anything, Louis?
No, that's great. I'm excited to hear the next bit. This is an exciting time, bro.
I'll just keep storming through. So, firstly, a few special mentions. You know who you are. I'm not going to go into detail because we'd be here all day, and I want to get to the meat of the conversation. But Joy, Mrs. Bothma from Canada, you are an incredible teacher, and to your class, we want to say hello. We're really glad you've been following the whole tour and love the way you look at teaching these kids holistically. The Up to Us team from Bulgaria, I feel like your video was an incredible, almost advert for this kind of compassionate problem-solving community. Shout out to Highway, I'm sorry if I get your name said slightly wrong, from Kuwait, who was our youngest applicant at 12 years old.
Wow.
And Jane from Alderney, 67, our oldest applicant. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's so encouraging to me that people in all different parts of life felt that they could apply and be part of this community, because you can. The purest idea, so somebody who literally just had a brainwave and just put it in a video and didn't ramble on at all, was a guy called Michael from Macau, a 30-second video with the idea that a car key that has a breathalyzer in it. So you can't turn your car on until you've proven that you're not drunk driving, which I thought was a really cool idea and just very pure and a moment of inspiration. And a bit of a shout out to those who have come back for the 2nd year. So those of you that submitted an idea in our pilot last year and came back, did some work, took feedback on board, and submitted another application. So big love to Ritvik, to Alicia, to Callum, and to the 1 to 3 guys from Canada. We really love that you've been an active part of this community and come back again with a vengeance. Some connections. So I've already been active trying to connect different people in this community together. So Tom, who did the aquaponics pitch, I'm going to connect you to a friend of mine called Roger Shaw, who's in Rwanda and runs a fish farm there. So you can talk and see whether some value can be created there. Sinead, I've already connected you, and we've been talking about connecting you to Matthew, the doctor in India who was in the vlogs, and you're going to send your trial batch of crutches out to him, which you saw in the videos that he was like, these crutches are not good enough. So I feel so stoked that we get to add value to him. The kindness offensive, you guys did great. Got like 12,000 views on your application. Amazing. I'm connecting you to Josh, Explore with Josh, massive viral YouTube channel. He goes into abandoned buildings and explores them. I would love for you guys to do some kind of collaboration. We saw him in Japan, and he was saying he wanted to do something like this, so I think you guys will do great together. And Martha, there was an application that came in about theatre, and they want to talk to you about doing theatre in different countries. So there has been lots of other value being created other than just the spotlight as well. The final shout out before we get on to the 7 that we're going to put in the spotlight is to the partners. A bunch of people sent applications in that may not be specific ideas, but are actually going to be great partners for Solvi as we continue to develop as a community. So I want to shout out to Michael Collar, the Center for International Scientific Cooperation, to Elsa and Co. from the International Women's Academy Global College Idea, to Jane Ayrton for Success at 60 Plus, who I know you've already reached out to projects and offered support, to Alex Freed, you're an awesome YouTube educator and communicator, to Cassie Dupecol, keep doing what you're doing, traveling all the way around the world, first woman to document all 196 countries, spreading peace. Joy, I mentioned earlier, the school teacher, you are a brilliant example of an educator, and I hope to continue talking about how we can get some of this thinking into schools. Gabriel, who wants to turn Solvi into a social platform, we'd love to talk with you to develop more tools to facilitate this community's conversation. Anti-Corruption International, Jason and Morna, you guys are doing amazing stuff, 96 different chapters around the world, and we would love to team up with you when things have more of an activist edge on the stories and ideas that we're brewing. And Alicia, you are the creative, inspirational voice, and I want to keep hearing you talk about creativity and the power that it has to change people's lives and to grow their lives. Woo! Okay, are you still with me? Are you still with me?
I'm still with you, bro.
Those are the shout-outs that we needed to do to thank everybody for being so rad, basically. And I'm pleased to say, before we go on to the drum roll, the ideas that we've selected are reimagining healthcare, education, how we connect globally, sanitation, housing, employment, and recycling. This is hitting a bunch of the global goals. Goal 3, Goal 4, Goal 17, 6, 11, 8, 13. And we have got people from all over the world. So, okay, I feel like I've built it up enough. We should go for it, shouldn't we? All right. Whew, so much work to this point, man. And I'm so pleased to say that in no particular order, the people who we're going to be giving at least $1,000 immediately, and I'm excited to say that tomorrow morning an article will go out on Forbes online, including all of your guys' names and your projects, getting your voice out to the world and getting you real credibility and bringing more credibility to the Solvi community at large. We have Hina from Egypt looking at recycling. Congratulations. Woo! We have Akhil from India looking at books and how we can get people access to education. We have Alejandro and Isabella from Venezuela looking at reimagining how slums are created. We have Theo and his crew from Brazil looking at the distribution of medicines. We have Lisa from the USA with the power of connection, trying to get schools from around the world to connect and lend to each other. We have Ritvik from India looking at how we can make sanitation better using our mobile phones. And we have Beth and Kathy from USA and Bolivia looking at how we can create a trading platform to deal with real social issues in Bolivia. I have done no justice to your ideas. I just wanted to say your names, and we will put all the articles online so everybody can see you talk about your ideas. But a massive congratulations to you guys. Woo, woo, woo.
Woo! Yeah.
I can see you guys there. Oh, I see a bunch of you guys there on the Facebook live feed. Thanks for coming in. Jessica, Ollie, Abby, thank you all. Okay. That is the main announcement. That is what we were here to say. And I would like to take some questions. Do you have any thoughts or questions, Louis, about where we are and where we go next?
Thoughts and questions. I think a thought is firstly, I just think it's fantastic, everything you shared, and very exciting to hear all the projects and stuff. And I think it's also so important to me that we're doing this as a community, and that we're involving people on every step of the way, from the announcement to every single day of the entire tour. And the Facebook group we've been running from all the people we've met at the meetup, the Solvi jam sessions. And I just think I'm just keen for this not to be, or not, for people watching, not to feel this is the end of anything at all. This is a continuing journey, and very excited to keep this community very alive and continuing to discuss ideas and support those that we've highlighted and get behind them and share what they're doing. And yeah, I'm just excited to be a part of this, really, and definitely see this as early days, and can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah. Well, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you, Louis, for taking a risk on doing this with me, mate. I mean, I know I'm not the easiest person to spend 30 days in a row with, but it's been really powerful. And I think that this initial phase of us, being at the forefront of it are coming to an end. And I think it's time, that we put these guys on the front page of Solvi. I'm so glad that tomorrow morning your names will be in lights on the Forbes website. A couple of weeks ago when we got the article written about the tour, I was stoked that I was in Forbes, because I think Forbes is rad. And now I'm so glad that Escher the journalist is going to write about all of you guys and put your names in lights, because this is what this is all about now. And so I want to see if we can make real quick progress. Currently the next big stop for Solvi is the week of the UN General Assembly, when they have the Social Goods Summit in New York. We don't quite know exactly what we're going to be doing there yet, but we know we're going to be trying to display the progress that you guys have made from today till then. And when it comes to I want to speak about the website right now. At the moment, every video application has a page and there's some comments, and I've gone through every single video and commented on every single video, giving feedback. Now, ideas are a journey. They start tiny and then they grow and change, and more people get involved in them. And I want everybody to be encouraged that it's what we want to show is how ideas can develop and change. So you've made a video, you get some feedback, you get some support, go and do some work, and then make another video that shows what you've learned and how you've changed and how you've moved forwards. And then send that back to us, whether or not you're in the spotlight or whether you're one of the other ideas. And I want to see this whole community of ideas, this kind of part of this ideas economy, all move forwards together. And we're definitely stronger together. So, I think that might be it. I would love to take some questions. Can you see a way to see questions on the Hangout?
There doesn't seem to be. I can see comments, but the last one was before we went live, so I don't know whether I don't know whether if there's like a live chat panel. I can't see.
Okay. Well, okay. Two things then. Well, I'll take questions from Facebook Live. I've got a couple of hundred people watching live,
Cool.
And also just to say, if you guys don't know about Plus Social Good, the guys that are hosting this Hangout today, go check out Plus Social Good. It's a great place for social innovators to meet together, to support each other. Especially if you're a Solvi applicant, you should definitely, show your face and tell people what you're up to in there. Hello Rohit, Kevin, Elliot, Ollie, Martin. I specifically want to take questions about where we're headed next. If you were part of the Solvi application process, anything we haven't answered for you, and anything specific about how to move forwards, really. Hi David, you okay, mate? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Lots of people saying hi, which is very nice. Okay, Libby asking, can people offer other help like marketing or PR to help your applicants out further? Absolutely, absolutely. Great question, Libby. Nice to see you. What we'll do, I'll have to think about how best to do this, but each applicant has a page on Solvi. We will make sure that there are contact details on there. If in doubt, send stuff to hello@solvey.com. Hello@solvey.com. That will come through to the Solvi team, and we may be able to provide more direct contact information, but I need to speak to you guys and find out what you're happy with before we do that. How Elton John Lennon, how do you think this Solvi can impact people who lives in poverty? Well, my belief, and I think Louis, you would probably concur with this, is that, well, why don't you answer this, Louis? Why don't you answer this? How do you think the Solvi project can impact people who live in poverty?
Okay, well, yeah, I'll share a few things, and then you can share what you think. I think the whole point this year specifically was that we wanted to reach those communities that don't always have the resources. So that's why we started our tour in Africa, Ethiopia, visited various cities and countries with a spectrum of income, and that's the whole social the social progress index showing where countries are. So yeah, I think hopefully we can. I think there are some restrictions. So obviously access to internet and social media and following this whole progress. But I think some of the projects themselves, hopefully, if they were followed to fruition and they could be scaled up in a big way, are going to be impacting much more of the world than just the Solvi community that we're currently discussing. So I think some of the projects they've selected and looked through are from all over the world. Some of those countries are tackling poverty issues more than others, and yeah, I think there's definitely going to be an impact.
I think cheers, Louis. I think the reality is we are here to invest in those who are willing to be brave, creative leaders. We are willing to invest our time and energy into the highest risk projects. And the reality with high risk projects is a lot of them don't achieve their original goal. That doesn't mean they're not successful or don't create value, because I think the whole nature of investing in hope and a reimagination of the spaces in our globe has an effect on our psychology, on the way we think about each other. I think just going around the world and showing the world as small and showing that there's great people in each country has an effect as well. That does not directly impact on people who can't eat or can't clothe themselves, but I think that what I care about is investing in an economy of people that care about those issues, those compassionate problem solvers, and investing in them to go and solve their more local issues that, frankly, we would know nothing about because we haven't lived there. We don't know what it's like to live there. Thank you for your question. If any of you, I think we've got time for one more question if anybody wants to ask something about the next steps of Solvi. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in to the Hangout and to the Facebook Live feed. This is new for me. It has been an incredible ride. That's the end of the sort of the funnel. So you go from like global search all the way down to like this few ideas that we really believe we can get behind. And now the second half begins, which is the launching off and actually trying to put material support behind these ideas. Now, I just want to say one more thing, which is me and Louis cannot do any more, really. This is where it's us handing it out there to the world to say, look, we found some absolutely incredible people. Now it's up to us together to add the kind of capital into these ideas to encourage them and develop them. And unless everybody does their little bit, it won't work. And that is provide your intelligence, thinking, provide links to research and things that make these ideas stronger and the narratives more compelling. Provide cash if you have it. Help these ideas move forward by putting more money so they have more capacity to develop and structure their ideas. And use your social kudos, whether that's online or in the analog world. Share this idea with other people. Let others have the chance to get to know it. There are so many messages out there in the world telling us what to do with our time and our money. it doesn't hurt to creep a few of these ideas in there and try and get people to engage with something different. Anything from you, Louis, or are we out?
I think we're out. I'm just super excited. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in to watch. It's great that even me and Dave, we're other sides of the world right now, and yeah, I think this is a big global family, and we're going to change the world together.
Big time, big time. Bro, thanks for making it up. I know you probably had like 2, 3. I saw you online like 3 hours ago, which is terrible. What time is it where you are?
Yeah. It's 11:30 now. I got to bed at about 7 a.m. Had a bit of an edit to do.
Nasty. Okay.
I had a coffee, so I'm feeling all right.
Okay. Much love to all of you who have been a part of this journey. It has been incredible, and we are so excited to see the next step of these ideas gaining momentum and going out to the world. Take care of yourselves. See you very, very